Hi. So I wanted to talk today a little bit about gentleness versus force, and especially in relation to our yoga practice. But this has value in all areas of our life. Um, it tends to be that most of us, even on an unconscious level, think that trying harder and using more force will eventually give us the results that we want. And we sort of, there's just a little misunderstanding somewhere in there because dedication and focus is one thing, but forcefulness, strain, and harm is another. And sometimes we don't always realize that we are straining or harming ourselves because it's just that's just kind of our uh, baseline, and we've never tried less to see if we get the same results or maybe even better results. And it's kind of no fault of our own. Our culture just does us absolutely zero favors in this department, which is are really given constant messages that you should try harder, basically try till you die. Um, so I'm a big advocate of gentleness as strength. And sometimes the way that I describe this is in terms of water. So we all know that, water can be just so gentle, like a mist or a dewdrop or a raindrop, or a very gentle stream. But if you collect enough of it, let's say like water behind a dam in a big reservoir, that water, all that, those little gentle drops all together have now come together as a massive force. And the water behind a dam, as you know, is so powerful. Um, Powerful enough to actually be frightening if it were to be let out all at the same time. Um, so, in the same way, and we can use our yoga practice as a laboratory in our body, heart, and mind for this experiment, which is that gentleness uh, accrues over time. Gentleness um, allows us to release tension. And when we release tension, we have now released all that energy that was previously bound up as tension. It is now freely available for any number of things, for healing our body, for creative activity, for just any sort of normal life functions, for new projects, and just for health and vitality. So when we start to become more gentle, we actually free up a huge amount of energy that we have been previously kind of unconsciously really um, repressing, and that repression is that stress. And once that gentleness becomes even more of a deeply ingrained habit, we can feel that we have more and more of our really true strength online more and more of the time. Even if we are feeling stressed, if something is coming at us in life, or we have a moment where we need to like gather all of our resources and act quickly, um, that what happens is if you've cultivated a reserve of gentleness, you actually have like this huge capacity now to respond. Um, and it seems, at first maybe paradoxical for many of us that to do a little less in the present moment will actually give us more in the long run. It somehow doesn't often make sense to our modern conditioned mind. But it really is true that if you slow down, if you rest, if you pause, if you do less, that what this becomes, it becomes like a bank account or like a reservoir for all of that energy that you had previously been sort of wasting. And it can then be uh, accumulated, stored, and really rejuvenate every single aspect of you, your physical health, your emotional health, your mental health, and most especially your spiritual um, grounding, your sense of being okay in the world. Um, so I encourage you to just consider this. Consider just even if you know how to be gentle. If you feel like allergic to that concept, if you're kind of like, well, I don't know, that doesn't really sound exactly right to me. Or if you, part of you goes, oh yeah, that makes sense to me. And then really just find out, like, look at your day, stop every once in a while and just check, am I trying too hard? Is there a way I can be more gentle with myself? And then especially we use that question, that inquiry in our physical yoga practice and our classes, in my classes, really experimenting with how backing off, being more gentle, being more kind can actually make us much, much more powerful, both in the short and the long term. So I hope this is an interesting little bit of food for thought for you, and I welcome your feedback and your input. Thanks so much.